APAC, we still need EMEA, and China's already doing their own thing. Okay. So I'm going to move as we're running a little bit out of time, and I wanted to share before we go into our open space forum something that's related to healing and something that's related to prepare for change. And this was a medical mission that was accomplished in the Philippines. So if you are looking at my screen right now, what you're seeing are photos of doctors who went to an area here nearby in the Philippines, about an 80-kilometer drive away, which if you translate that from Manila to this area would be about a 3.5-hour journey. And I'm kind of putting this on a micro scale of how prepare for change. This is going to be an analogy, so you hear the tie-in, so wait for it. So these doctors volunteered with an organization, a nonprofit organization. There were several of them, to go up to 100 patients in an area where it's severely remote, and they're indigenous group of people that they're reaching out to. So they don't have basic skills in education. They lack infrastructure for electricity. They're really indigent. So they need a lot of help. And that was the primary purpose of the medical mission, where they wanted to go out and do outreach to these children. So what happened is they were able to see 100 patients in about 3 to 4 hours with 4 doctors, 1 dentist, 4 nurses, several coordinators, as well as the localized leadership from that particular area. And I mentioned this, the 2 teachers and LGU officials from that area. Okay, so you see all the resources at the top here on the page. And then at the bottom, there were 2 leaders and LGU officials from that area. They went out on a Sunday, and they were only able to deliver about 3 to 4 hours of care. Now, there were some challenges in this because there was no advance party to prepare to set up the site. Delivery care time was obviously lessened. They were there for about, I think, 7 or 8 hours. The doctors volunteered to 12 hours of their life, actually. So they actually woke up earlier because of the travel time. So the delivery of healthcare time was lessened because they weren't prepared in advance. And also because there was no advance party to look at the patient cases and understand, what the populace would be. The medicines weren't listed or inventoried accordingly to the cases that they needed. So the doctors, when I talked to them, they told me, yeah, we went there to help, but we didn't have all the medicine that we could give and that the patients needed. Or I needed to perform some procedures, but I couldn't because I didn't have the chair to perform the procedures, what the dentist would say. So the lack of facilities and tools and planning was due to the lack, ultimately, of the preparation that was needed in advance. So when we talk about healing, when we talk about prepare for change, I hope that this story kind of relates to all of us from a leadership perspective of what's needed. The life forces, as they're moving closer from sublunar to Earth, are going to need our help. Ada mentioned this. They can't do it without us. They need us to be connected in the grid. We need to prepare meditations, healing, gathering, the leadership in the communities, preparing these community briefs like we talked about in the last meeting, to get everyone gathered and prepared for what's going to happen during the event. So in this case, that they didn't have even basic necessities to help deliver care, like electricity, so they had to actually stop. So what we want to do is make the event operations as smooth as possible, and preparing for change in advance is going to be what's needed from all of us. And that's why we're having these calls. That's why the Prepare for Change Council has given us a platform to not only just give us a vote, to send out to the universe and signal that we are here, this is our intent, but when they come here, and the light forces, obviously, and the benevolent extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional races, our light forces, when they come here, we're prepared to host them. We're prepared to help them provide the technologies for healing, the technologies for getting out of the paradigm that we're currently in. Now, they can't do that without us. So I just wanted to share that story really quickly so that you guys can understand that. But obviously, they were happy to help these children. They're going to have to come back and help them some more. And they're going to have to do another series of operations now. But the whole focus of sharing the story was to give an idea, give a depiction of what was needed. And they only had 2 resource persons from their village to help the many coordinators. Now, if they had a little bit more, maybe things would have gone smoothly for them in this medical mission. Okay, but before I go to the Open Space Forum, I want to give Ada and Lynn a little bit more time. Maybe you can give some feedback about what we're doing. Let's start with Lynn, and then we'll go to Ada. So, what we're trying to accomplish in these days with Dane, who's sick, not really talking right now. Maybe you can weigh in a little bit, Lynn. What are your thoughts? And
we're talking about the overview of why we have a leadership forum. Is this the direction?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, our council is very small. And in relation to the whole world, we're not even a drop of water. So we need people all over the world to carry on and to, get this mission to proceed, so that we can have, at the time of the event, we can have people in place that will be calm and soothing to the people that are not going to be calm and soothed. So this is, I don't know, this is such a small thing, but it's a major thing. Because if you can picture the rest of the world around you absolutely falling apart, we need to help comfort people and let them know that this isn't going to last forever, that we're going to get through this. And when we come out on the other side, we're going to be in much better shape, that we have to go through these labor pains. And we want to do it as a united community and a united world. We're going to do this.
And I agree with you. We are going to do this. This is going to happen one way or the other. And how smoothly we do this is really up to us, right?
Right.
So I appreciate that. And I hope that these are the way that this has flowed. It's kind of fell into our laps this way. I guess this wasn't the planned way. If you ask me, the first meeting that happened with this one, it was disorganized, and it's been taking shape. And as it's moving along, I think the feedback from your council, from the PFC council members, are going to be critical in shaping the overall strategic objectives, which focus on healing, awareness, meditations, and then how do we all organize the resources from these leaders in the different countries around the world or the different regions. What are the call outs? What are the challenges they face, and what do they do to address them? Because they're going to be different in each portion of the world, and that's what I've been hearing from the certain calls, that language is a challenge, or the objections to what we're trying to make aware people about are some of the challenges, and how do we talk to our loved ones who sometimes get in the way, or even talk to our cats. Sometimes they'll mess up the toilet paper, and then you're scratching your head. So giving them the techniques and the resources are going to be helpful. So that is the point, I think, of why these conferences over Zoom are happening. If you can tell us if that's the vision that you see that this should be taken in, or is there something more to it that we need to be doing, or is it fine? What's your feedback?
The meditations. This is what all of us can do. Besides being calm and instilling that calmness in others, we can do the meditations, and we can promote the meditations among our friends and relatives. I know it's hard. My kids think I'm crazy, but I don't care. I'm going to move forward with this, with the people that are in alignment.
It's hard when your loved ones antagonize you, or I try to talk this about with my parents or with my cousins. Some of them are in scientific or other types of, industrialized types of work, and they just look at me like, what are you talking about? And it's really hard. You try to say, you give how do you consolidate everything that you've learned as a light worker from.
If you could just get them to look at one YouTube video that has something to do with that they're interested in, like, most people are interested in the financial because it's such a mess. And
Yeah.
our money is worth less and less. So if we could just get a foot in the door to have them look at something, and it's going to be different for everyone. Not everybody is going to respond to the same video, but they just need that light bulb turned on that, hey, there is something wrong and we do need to change things. And, what's this all about? Well, then they're going to start down the rabbit hole and it's never going to end. Because once you open that door, you can't close it.
Right, right. And I think that's the key, is the anchoring idea of interest to them. When we were talking to one of the PFC leaders, this gentleman from Sebastopol was saying, he was in the military. He used his military background during a rally to get his credibility built with some of the other police force and first responders that he knew in the area. And he was able to get the attention of his city council members and the mayor, even, in fact. So relating to the people outside of the PFC community, it's really hard to do because we're so swirled into what interests us. We forget to listen to what interests others and use that as kind of like a beacon to guide them or hold them into this movement. So I think that's the global currency reset is a played out one for me personally. I'm not really too worried about the money. I know it's going to be an instrument just to help us move objectives and build infrastructure. But for some who are challenged by not having enough or not being able to make ends meet, those might be interesting topics for them to say, that makes sense to me. And I think it has a lot to do with, from an esoteric point of view, then a balance between the energies of their divine feminism and their divine masculine, right? And some of those energies are just balanced to one side or the opposing side. And they need to understand that the balance that we're trying to achieve is something that outwardly we project to them as what they should be or what they would desire to be as well. And that's hard to do. That's really, really hard to do. Because light worker, it's not light working. It's heroic in a sense to what our plans for the universe is, but it's not very glamorous. It's not something you go around and post about on Instagram and have a party trying to follow you. It can be very, very tough at times. So I think it's not for everyone per se, but it's definitely something we need more people to come to, and so that critical mass is achieved more easily.
Just be who you are and don't give up on sharing information. Whatever way you can crack the door open so there's a little more light, you're doing a service to mankind. And this is similar to the people who have ET experiences. They don't want to talk about it because they're going to be ridiculed. I totally understand that, but it doesn't change the experience. You are still validated for who you are and what you've experienced, and nobody can change that.
Absolutely. I think when we come here together as leaders, we're able to discuss our experiences, and it makes us more comfortable to talk to each other. But when we talk outside the group, I think that's another thing. And bridging that gap between outsiders to coming into our circle, is like just as you said, then be yourself, and the universe will provide. I think that's the main goal, right? Would you say?
Absolutely.
Ada, would you like to chime in and talk about a little bit about your feedback and thoughts on what the structure, how this is forming, and um, your thoughts? Could you comment, Ada, if you're still there?
Yes,
Sure.
I'm right here. I'm here. I would like to say this meeting is wonderful. It's something I've been dreaming about for 5 years since we started PFC. So this leadership structure is part of the human light grid we were talking about earlier. And so this idea of creating a structure of the PFC leadership down to the regional leadership, the national, the local, that is something that COBRA has said is necessary to have in place for the event to happen. And I'm so excited to see that this is happening now, but the structure, because we need a structure to communicate the information from COBRA through PFC leadership down to everybody, within hours. And we need a structure to hear up the chain. So if there's something going on in Philippines, the rest of us can know about it, then we could start a meditation. So I'm so delighted to see this leadership structure being formed so that we can do this. Because as Len said, the just PFC, if it's not connected to the regional, to the national, to the local leadership, we can't do very much. But with this connection, we can serve the whole world, and we can communicate, and we can coordinate, no matter what the languages are or the platforms being used. So I'm tremendously excited to see this taking shape.
What topics do you feel that we should be guided to, and apart from what was mentioned today, are going to be helpful for the leadership members around the world and in their areas? What would you recommend that we start discussing to help drive the structure for leadership and to help drive the goals of the strategic vision that we have?
Well, meditation, as we've discussed, is a good one because it's a good one for just building the network. And then once the network is built, there's healing. People need healing right now. There are healing techniques like what Danelle wrote about in the chat, which is Tom Palladino's scalar energy that's free for 15 days for anybody to try. We want to get that kind of information out to people. Protection techniques like Len was talking about. Things to deal with attacks from the worm, because they're attacking everybody. The problem is most of the people don't know what it is. They might think, oh, I just had a fight with my husband, rather than, we just got hit by a scalar weapon. So spreading the information. And with that, I would say getting people used to a weekly structure, like come every Saturday for a report, is part of it. So building the structure is where my focus is for the most part, but getting people used to something regular. So every Saturday, there'll be something new, or every month, there'll be a new report. So I think the leadership should be thinking about along those lines, like how do we get the information structure? If something happens and you're like, oh, wow, like everybody in my community is feeling sick, let me see what's going on. They know exactly where to go within PFC to find out and to communicate it. So, because the resistance movement needs to know what's going on the ground all over the earth. This is a structure that's being created right now where we can communicate that to them. And then when the resistance movement wants certain things done, they need to be able to communicate to us at all these points around the globe. And that's what we're setting up here.
So while the resistance movement is watching us, and they're obviously guiding us. I don't think these meetings would have happened without some kind of guidance. What's the checkpoint for us to, you're saying there's going to be information from COBRA. Obviously, he's in touch with the resistance movement. Are we going to be able to get more dynamic feedback with him? One of the things, let me just give context to that question before you answer it, Dave. One of the questions I had for Dane was, would it be possible that we have him in these forums to kind of speak on our reports and what we're gathering and information? And would that be one checkpoint? And what are certain other ones that you feel that will be helpful from the top?
I know from what I've experienced that Cobra's time is limited. I certainly think we could ask him if he'd come on these forums. I don't know if he'll accept or not, but I think that reading his website, and maybe we could develop a site on our new leadership forum where we could talk about what's important to light workers in this group right now this week. Maybe once a week we could give a little capsulated discussion of what went on that week, you know, that pertains to us. Would that be helpful? Would people like that?
What's going on in the local communities, like say what, for example, okay, Turkey report this week, Germany report this week. I think that would be tremendously helpful for everybody to see, especially like the national and regional reports. But I also wanted to say that I do see, if we build this network and we build it strong, I'm going to change that. Once we build this network and it's strong, I can see Cobra coming on every once in a while with a, 5 or 10 minute message, or if he has something urgent to communicate from the RM, I see him contacting us. We set up a call, and yes, I do see that happening. I mean, he's not available until things are going on generally, but I do see that as something in the future once we have our structure built.
So the structure that we're building are, one of the points that we're making in these forums is that we're trying to reach out to the LGUs in our area, or the first responders, because when the event happens, we obviously want them to be as calm as possible in the transition, as calm as possible. Meditation is a way to help that. Dane and I have been hearing a lot in these leadership forums that reaching out to them is of critical importance. And one of the metrics that I believe, and Dane also agrees, is that we should have a checklist of how many cities have leaders been made aware of these events. And Edward posed a good question in the chat. Will any of these government leaders listen to a light worker who's just an average citizen? And why would they do that? So I think that's very, very interesting as a question, because I think that's what the structure of this leadership is designed to do. Apart from our work as light workers, where we're doing our own internal things to help the plasma etheric fields to channel in the light for the ground, but to work with our communities on the physical plane, right, Dane? And that's, I think, the main key important message that we're trying to, one of the main key important messages that we're trying to come across is we need to prepare these first responders.
Right. These meetings are really designed to enable people to feel more confident about what they're representing and who's behind them, and give them a sense of identity about what's really going on. It would be possible for us to have Cobra involved, I think, if we are willing to have if he could actually interact with us on the chat, and then he could communicate, because he is very shy about having his voice go out unmodulated. But through the chat, and then having someone, myself or yourself, read his comments, I think it's successful. We have a lot of people around the world who are aware that there are big problems, and for most people, it's very difficult to understand that we can do anything. When I first heard Cobra's message, it resonated, because I'd thought about these problems for many, many years, and I had a great understanding of the depth of the problems, and realized there's no other answer. You have to have a total change like this. And the fact is, this change wouldn't be possible without the rising of the frequencies. And the rising of the frequencies is upon us. We are, right in the middle of that change. And so for this, we can only thank, God for this shift in consciousness. But, it's happening, and it's the only way it could happen. You've got such a deeply embedded satanic network around the world. They've been building this thing up for 150 years. The banking system around the world is based on this satanic expansion. All the countries in the world are incorporated under Washington, D.C. Most of them don't realize it, but this has been one of their gimmicks. When the Washington, D.C. corporation fails, all the nations will be freed. And this is something that most nations don't realize. They don't realize that their nation is incorporated and that it's a sub-corporation of Washington, D.C. Probably be a rude awakening to them. But we have at our fingertips the end of this horrible thing that's been done to our planet, and these conferences can provide that. We are in the presently creating website pages that will have all of these information, all of this stuff on them. We'll have much better support for all of our leadership conferences, and simpler and easier to get to.
And just one thing I want to say quite briefly is in answer to Jed's question about what we can do with leadership. The answer may be that what we do is we compile a list of the first responders in our area. So say you live in New York City, you may not be able to go to talk to your fire chief and the police chief and tell them, hey, the world is controlled by Satanists, but you can meet them. You can get a list of names. You can establish contact with them without telling them everything. And then when the moment comes of the event, you're a person of trust and you can say, hey, listen, this is what's been going down. So maybe it's a question of establishing contact, establishing network, but not letting them, know what we know right off the bat.
City council meetings are good formats for this. We don't. It's not practical for us to go to the state level or the county level, although some counties have a governing body that you can speak in. But almost all cities do, and I think that if people want to, Lynn goes to city council meetings in her town regularly, and they have regular meetings here, and they're televised. But these are formats where we can show up, introduce ourselves, talk about changes or problems that are going to be changed. Most of the problems are going to be changed. So it's almost everything is an entry point, and so I think we have to sort of tailor our message to this group, and we can't start off with the aliens are landing, but there are a lot of more mundane context that we can bring in that will be still quite eye-opening for them. What they would be locally, I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe we should come up with a separate kit for them, Dane. I know that we have we have these tools and resources, but I think the first step in our local areas, whether you're in the Philippines or in India or Germany or United States, just in your city, get a name of the chief of police, get a name of the fire chief, as well as, maybe some of the list of the, I don't know what kind of list should we build, maybe those first responders lists are very important to identify, get their name, their email, their telephone number, or their website. And then from there, maybe we can start sending stuff and having conference calls with them over Zoom ourselves, or something. Have a resource speaker, say that knows about this stuff. Talk to them, and we link them together. That might be one way to get that done. What do you think, Dane?
One of the things that I'm proposing is that we take a channel with 200 seats and schedule it with different IDs for each of the 5 regions, so that each one will have an optimum time and an individual group, and we can have the same Zoom channel available worldwide for this purpose. Because if the hours are for instance, on Saturday, that would only
Mhm.
be 10 hours of the Saturday, and they could be spread out because each of these regions is far apart. So we can do that. We might even be able to do it for more localized regions, but these things can be set up in advance. We can put them on our website with auto links so that they can go right in. I don't know what happened to them this week, but something's up with that. And so we can have them on the website so that people can say, oh, this is for the European region, and it starts at 11 o'clock here, and so they can click on it at that time, and it'll open up, and they will be talking to that entire region. I think that helps because it enables people to see, to schedule it and see and remember that they can easily find it.
Mhm.
And we can do that. This is not going to be more expensive. I mean, these meetings, we are using this channel. We have it 24/7, and we're only using 2 hours a week for this
Mm.
right now, and we can easily schedule more. And so that would be the intention. We're going to a volunteer meeting in a little while. This is scheduled normally, and
Mhm.
it's not going to have the same link that's on the website. Unfortunately, I sent this out to everybody without this number, but we're solving some problems with the website right now, but we can move forward and keep building the way it is. Yeah. So.
Dane, I completely agree that our Zoom resource from a PFC perspective might be underutilized. Might be a great channel or an avenue. Maybe like say for in the North America region, if the leadership team there identifies a friendly first responder who they can link up with other state or county based first responders and have a Zoom call, and then that recorded Zoom call could be obviously sent out to other cities around that region or even the globe, based off of whether it was English or not. So that might be a great idea and a tool to utilize. So that way we don't have to boil the ocean, so to speak, and individually do that. And one of the checkpoints from a structural leadership standpoint would be that we have hopefully a local light worker there in place that will be the single point of contact for that first responder who caught on with interest, so that they can have dialogue. And if they want to know more, they can join in on the PFC leadership calls and share as well. So that might be a transformative step, I think, is like you said. So I'll just reiterate it. One would be a regional call, and then a leader would be identify a resource speaker. In this case, it would be a first responder that could be held with other first responders, that other regional leaders or city or localized leaders from the PFC community call out their first responders to a community call, and they share the information on what happens during the event, and that's recorded, and now we have a new resource tool for everyone around the world to use.
Right. We're going to have to create a lot of resource tools, and they'll be on the new web pages, and there's going to be a whole section now devoted to the leadership forums. We will be setting up a healing forum. There's a tremendous number of healers who want to share and participate. We have there's a lot of interest in after disclosure. There's going to be a lot of new healing technology that's going to be released, and so we need a whole platform to just discuss healing. And I'm seeing if Lynn wants to do this on Sundays. We could do a healing forum on Sundays. We may be able to do a something for education. New technology for education is out there, and certainly you know, people need to understand that things like Common Core are basically a conspiracy against knowledge and learning. You know, people don't really get that the government is undermining their children's future by trying to teach them rote learning and then limiting it to the most, you know, uninterested topics. And so, you know, we have a lot of issues, and we can address them using the leadership forum. If we do it right, we can extend it to you know, multiple platforms of knowledge that people need to share on and have an interest in.
Mhm.
So
So for now, strategically, based on what, you know, the council members that are here today, meditations, healing, and the event awareness drive are the top three key things we want from, you know, a content. Those are the first three priorities, right, Dane?
yeah, we are planning on having a meditation on Zoom also on Sunday. When things get a little bit further along, we'll probably have it from Sedona, and this will be, you know, available worldwide, and you know, we'll see how that goes. I'm putting stuff on Ada, and I don't know how she's got a busy life of her own. We'll see. But this is a good idea, and I think it'll help. I think that there are a lot of groups around the world that could use the Zoom connection, and this is, you know, a perfect format for synchronized meditation, because if we're all on one call, we can get you know, 200 groups around the world who could be simultaneous because of the Zoom call. And for synchronized meditation on COEO, seldom gets 100 people. It just doesn't. And with Zoom, we could probably get more, and each of those could be actually meetings of people. And so I'm kind of optimistic about doing that. It seems like it'll work, it'll be effective. And so it really, we have a lot of possibilities here.
Definitely, we do. And I appreciate the council's guidance and how the structure will form up. I hope we're on the right track in what we're aiming to accomplish. And I think that this leadership forum gives that voice, and we want to keep these going, obviously. So when we, I guess, Dane, one of the call outs in the newsletter is to, I think, simplify the newsletter so that, you know, it just gives a brief, and then they can go to that website perhaps and get more of the, you know, they can see the videos, they can see the chat and discussion for the resources. But
web pages,
yeah,
big help. We haven't had time to create them, but once they're in line and place, then we'll be able to, you know, have all that stuff much more streamlined. People will get the information. The other thing that's important to us to realize is that these meetings go out on YouTube, and they are starting to show up on the you know, the YouTube you know, options when you're on YouTube.
mm-hmm.
And we were able to get in there, put our information on the chat, and drive back to the website to get the historical information. But YouTube is a very important medium for us, and PSC has not been active in doing this. And thanks to these meetings being on YouTube, we're starting to get a lot more credibility. And that this is one of the keys for us, is to make these meetings very authoritative and intelligent. We need more speakers. And after the first of the year, we're going to try to get more speakers involved in these meetings. A lot of speakers want to have feedback from an audience, and we have a very well-educated audience, a very advanced audience. And so I think we're going to be able to start getting, you know, important authoritative speakers on all these different topics. I know that Lynn will be able to get people who are into medicine.
Yep.
We need people who are more involved with the political situation in the world, but you know, some of them are shy about you know, the event. It seems too fantastical for their mainstream audience. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so we'll find them.
Yep. Thanks, Dane. I know we're gonna you know the resources will fall into place. Everything that we've been doing in the past 5 meetings seems like it has been, and I think every meeting has flowed in the way that the light workers and the resistance movement needs to have happened. I've not seen a meeting where I've actually come last minute into these things, and I'm amazed with how the flow of these of our meetings go. I'm going to move over to Christina real quick, Dane. Christina wanted to talk about one of the, we talked about the healing topics, and since Lynn is here, this would be a great session to get Christina to talk about the scalar energy technologies that she'd like to bring up. So Christina, are you there? Could you unmute your microphone?
Yes, there. I'm here. I wanted to talk a little bit on, from Tom Paladino. We were talking in another time about this scalar energy healing that he's offering to heal people for free. And for me, it's a very interesting thing because I was following him and helping him to send the picture from many people that want to be healed from all the diseases that is in the website page that I put in the chat. This is done via the scalar energy instrument using your photograph and the highly magnificent imaging and the essential nutrients. This broadcast sent vital information via scalar wave and can be received by the cells in a human being or pet or animals or even plant. And finally, the other things that is very interesting is because this scalar energy balance all the chakra from the human being to align and harmonize all 7 chakras. And that is something very important, because now most of the people they have illness or disease is because they have sometimes unbalanced chakras, or they have some worms or some vampires energetic beings that I think in the electromagnetic field, the aura. And this scalar energy is clean everything, clean all those things. And I think it's very interesting to have, because I went through this process, and now I can feel absolutely with better energy. And I
Christina, you're a doctor. You're in the medical profession, though, right?
Yes, I am therapist. Yes, but I don't use the pharmaceutical medicine. No, I am therapist of. I know theta healing. I know bioquantum session therapies, and I'm using the energy, even in the long distance. And that's why I can understand this, because I was studying a little bit too the scalar energy. Is quantum physics knowledge, and you can understand perfectly how it's working. And that's why I decided to help Tom Paladino to heal people, especially people who doesn't have any money, for go to the doctor or buy medicines. That I'm not agreed to take medicine. That's why. But it's that's why I say that is amazing process that the people can go through, and not only with the physical problems, even with the spiritual, because it's when you have something with the unbalanced energy in your chakras, your spirituality is going through difficult.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I'm so interested in people to be healed, because the basic things that we need now is have people completely healed. I say right, healed.
So tell me. So in the chat, you mentioned that you just need a picture of the person who needs this scalar healing,
Yeah,
and you're recommending to everybody that if they send you the picture, whether it's your loved ones who might be antagonizing you, like Lynn's kids, if you're being attacked by them, or if they're sick like Dane is right now,
yeah.
you just picture this person and you can help heal them through this technology. Is that right? And Tom is his name, and he does that for free. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. He's offering this treatment for 15 days for free. Yeah, absolutely. Yes,
Wow.
I think the first person that you can heal is especially you and the people who are attacking you.
Yeah, your loved ones.
Yes, and your loved one, or if sometimes people that you have close to you, could be even people from your family. Sometimes that they are sending to you a very bad energy, destructive energy by thought. You know
Mm.
that, and they can make you damage in your in any way of your body. That's why I think the most important people who need to heal is our enemies.
Mm.
Yep.
That's funny you mentioned that, because Ada mentioned she's gone already, but she mentioned that there's going to be a Cabal return to the light meditation, because she wants to heal the Cabal members to return to the light, so
Yep.
that they will obviously be healed. That's very interesting. You mentioned that. And
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. We already sent it a picture from many mandatories and presidents and people from the Cabal
yeah.
that they go into this process. Absolutely. Yes.
So could you spell the email out for those of us listening? So all they have to do is send you a picture,
Yes.
and you'll ask Tom Palladino
Yes.
to do this. And this is for a limited time. You said for 15 days. So
It's a 15-day, yeah, but you can be healed for many, many things, and you can get at your energy, power energy back, because I was passing from one process that I was feeling some kind of, I don't know, this kind of disoriented time that you don't know. One day you feel sad, when the next day you feel like, oh, something is coming, and then it's part of the unbalance from your chakra energy. And in the physical way, I was having a little bit problem on my stomach too, and now I can feel that everything is coming back in a good way. That's why I am insisting in the people take this one for free, because it's going to heal a lot of things that they don't even know what they have wrong energy in your energy field, in your aura. That is, is many things that is good to take this treatment for free. And anyway,
So what's the email address, dear?
the email address,
For Tom Palladino. for where they send
Oh.
your picture, their picture of whoever or themselves?
Yeah, anyone who want to send me a picture, they can send it to me, and I can send it to him back,
Okay.
to Tom Palladino.
So
Or they can go straight to that. I put it in the chat already. His website. They can go straight from his website and take this 15-day for free.
So the email address is universolimpio@gmail.com. Yes.
My email address. Yeah, yeah. I put it here. I'm gonna put it again.
Okay.
And Danelle would like to say something briefly, because
Sure.
I met with Tom in end of October, and we did make a big post on Prepare for Change about this technology, because it's wonderful technology. It does not have to be a picture of your face. It could be a picture of your hand or
even on your hands. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you do not have to identify by your face if you do not want to.
Yeah.
He has generously offered to have all of the Malawi orphanage and the whole people in the whole city on his program. We're having a little difficulty trying to get pictures of people from Malawi, but he is very dedicated to helping to heal the world, and especially Africa. So I just wanted to mention that also. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
guys
it's a very generous person, and I think it's kind of angel that we have already for humanity, healing for free people, especially the poor countries. He's taken, he having already in Honduras a big family that they are already taking picture from everyone who needs healing. Yeah. He said that yes, you can, if you don't want to be identified, you can send a picture for your hands or your any little space from your body. This have the skin, because from the skin, this is intelligent and it's scalar energy. It's intelligence energy can take your blueprint that is unique. It can take it from a little space of your skin. That's why it can be a hand or a piece of your face. It doesn't have to be the whole body. Yeah.
That is so interesting. That's a very good resource and it's good feedback. So I hear someone else that wants to speak.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something. It's Clive. I'm just want to say that this has been an absolutely sensational meeting. I've made so many notes and learned so many things that I can just say that this, if the future meetings can come anywhere close to this, we're on the right track. It's fantastic. I congratulate everybody involved and all the love involved. And just want to say one more thing about what Christina was saying. The three energy structures of the body are the aura, the chakras, and the meridians. Of course, the meridians are dealt with acupuncture. The chakras, I'm a master Reiki, so the study of chakras is very, very crucial in that energy healing. And the aura is something, the 7 layers of the aura, all those are so important in the complete healing of people. So lots of love to everybody, and that was a fantastic meeting.
Thank you so much for joining today, Clive. I appreciate your feedback on this topic. If you'd like to speak on any topics, come back when we have these again, and hear more about your mantra music. Share that with us in the chat group on your website when you get that up and running next week. I'd love to hear it.
Maybe next time we can
start with our meeting track.
God bless.
Yeah. Clive?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you could play that for us at one of the next meetings at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's great, because now I've got some impulse to do the mix, do the master mix. I'll do it,
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll do that.
Good.
Thanks.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
God bless everybody.
God bless. God. Take care.
God
Thank
bless. Lots of love.
Shweta, you wanna add something before we close this meeting out?
Yes, namaste everybody. Namaste, Clive. Thank you, Christina, for sharing this beautiful knowledge. And I want to say that I'm becoming brave day by day, attending these meetings, and I'll go out to getting the information to the people that needed more. And I know it will be difficult, but I will go in January, and I will distribute the leaflets and of that voluntary community leader meeting, and advice also in Hindi language for the local habitual system. How can they cope up with that event? And I'll talk to people. I'll start talk to people now, and I know they are not ready. Here they are not ready at all, but I'll talk as the structure is going very well, and I'm becoming what I can say, very brave day by day, with all you loved ones and friends, my dear ones. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Shweta.
I just
Namaste.
wanted to add one thing. All of us here are leaders, and all we need to do is claim our power. We have it within us to do this. So trust in yourself and just be who you are.
Yes, Lynn. Yes, of course. Thank you. Jed, I want to say one thing also. The Karuna 5 video posted today in the mail. Yes, that was so beautiful. I feel like the girl was me. Everybody can have felt that.
Wow.
It's a very beautiful video. I have shared before this month earlier this video posted by Arbore Soler. I have posted this in Facebook. So this is beautiful, and this is so touched my heart. I'll share it again. Thank you.
Thank you. Please share that video. And when Jane said that he saw it, he literally broke out in tears. I felt so like, gosh, I can't wait for this. I can relate to this. I feel as trapped as they did, and as hopeful as they did. A lot of emotions and powerful messages in that video that was shared on Cobra's webpage. You can definitely look for that. And on the final topic of healing, thank you, Shweta. On the final topic of healing today, the latest post from Cobra's website was about Command PB Stardust. Lynn, do you want to talk about that real quick before we close off? I know we're running a little bit out of time. Dane's got to go to his volunteer meeting. Could you touch on that, Lynn, if you're there?
Oh gosh. I don't. When was this posted? Just a little while. I think Friday. Command PB Stardust. There's a new video. It's on the Prepare for Change website, and it's used to heal the central nervous system. It gives the Pleiadians access to our central nervous system, right? Okay, I don't think I read it. I'm
okay.
Sorry. I will now.
Yeah, listen, it does work. I've been doing it since Friday, like as many times a day as I can. Something's going on there. It's pretty incredible. Command PB Stardust, or you say that 3 times in your mind, and the Pleiadians can somehow access your central nervous system, and it's not going to eliminate all the pain, but it will definitely eliminate a lot of the pain, especially chronic pain. So
I'm glad you shared your success, Clive, because I have chronic back pain. I have a pinched nerve in my lower lumbar region, and I've been having a really bad migraine and all this stuff because of it. I've been using it, and it's about, as it says, it's about 80 to 90% effective.
Yes, fantastic. As I see, there's two incredible healing things that have come up here. The one from Tom Palladino, and now the one from the lead use, the Command PP Stardust. Well, that's fantastic. Fantastic. This is,
Fantastic.
yes, it absolutely is.
So
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
George, I'm a registered nurse.
Hi, George.
Hi. I just really enjoyed this conversation. I work in a regular hospital, but I'm getting a whole lot out of this session. And I just wanted to say something about healing. Just listening to this conversation is actually healing. Because a lot of the things that you guys are talking about, people don't really have regular conversations about this. And I was just going to suggest, if you put this up on YouTube and have a lot of people listen to this, this is going to contribute a whole lot. Because like just having a normal conversation like this is a huge thing. You know, just listening to people talk about what you're talking about is actually a big impact on a whole lot of people, a lot more people than you think. And just listening to stuff and repeating, you guys are talking about different commands, and you guys are talking about a lot of stuff. And this is just one conversation right here, I think would be a lot for everyone to hear. Be good for everyone to hear this. Just to go to your YouTube channel or whatever and download this. I mean, this will be awesome. So that's my input.
It definitely will be. Thank you,
Yeah,
George.
I do. I listen to the old PXC ones, and they have a really huge impact. Just listening to them over and over again. You know, because you every day you don't hear people talking about this, and you're thinking, wait, what's going on? You know, your whole mind is in another mindset.
Yeah.
But when you come back to this right here, what you guys are doing, it has a huge impact on just a daily, you know, listening to it maybe once or twice a day or just once a week. It's a huge impact. I just wanted to let you guys know that. You know,
thank you so much.
This conversation. These conversations, your whole thing. Okay, so I just love listening. Okay.
Thank you, love and light. That's
okay.
Wonderful feedback from
okay.
you, George. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Well, with that, folks, I want to say thank you. I know we're over time. Dane's got a volunteer meeting up ahead, and I'll let him give time to prepare for that. Do join his meetings if you want to volunteer. Our next leadership meeting will be announced soon. Dane, when do you think you want to have the next one? Should we go next week again? I don't mind next week. Next week sounds good for me.
Next week is
the 23rd.
The 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. You think everybody's going to have a lot of? I mean, I don't mind. This is a high point for my week, so I don't mind doing it. But
I don't mind.
You know, we have a lot of people. You know, I'm fine with it. You know, Saturday, 9 o'clock Pacific time.
Okay. Let's go then. And Lynn, if you have a resource speaker that you want to invite, so we can make the call outs for your spinoff for the healing community calls. As you can see, you know, having you today has attracted a lot of the healing energies in our call today. So thank you for that. And I hope that continues on its own separate track, and we can get some more resources. And as you can hear the feedback from these people, how amazing it is to get this kind of information. And I believe this definitely has to have, you know, more conversations guided around that center of topics. So I hope that can be called out in the next meeting. So if you have anything between now and then that pops up, send me an email in, and I'll try to get some slides and get some points taken for if you have anyone to highlight for a resource speaker.
Great.
We'll see. Great. So yeah, next meeting we will have next week. For those of you who couldn't join us today, we hope that you can make it in. It's always wonderful that our audience members participate and guide the topics. And today I felt a lot of healing. So let's use that energy for our mass meditation this coming Thursday. So I'm going to flash the slide one more time just because we're here at the end and go back to it. This is the worldwide planetary solstice meditation. Please be there. There's a countdown clock link that I put here. Share this, as Ada mentioned, on your Facebook communities that you're in. It's only going to take 15 minutes of your life to do this. Make it go viral on your social media. Send everybody a calendar invite. I'll create a video on a how-to or steps on a how-to use your Gmail or your Facebook Messenger to create an invitation for this, and you should do it if you are an administrator in your Prepare for Change national group to make this meditation go viral. We need the critical mass to anchor in, to send the beacon out into the universe, into the resistance movement and the light workers from the surface of the planet to ground in our energies. And we are going to stop these attacks from happening, and the healing is obviously going to be part of the post-event, one of the post-event strategies, and I think that's why we're having these flows of our topics in our meetings, and it's just amazing. So I hope that you can be part of that. For those of you who are listening now and joining in, and for those of you who aren't and listening to this video, do these things. It's going to be very helpful for the planet as well.
I have a question.
Sure, Edward.
Are these leadership meetings going to be every single Saturday, or are they kind of randomly picked from one meeting to the next? I attended the first one, and I've missed the last 3, I believe. So I'm curious as to, is this a regular weekly thing we're going to do now?
What I envision with Dane is that we're gonna hand this off to the regions in the upcoming months.
Oh, I see.
We want to keep the traction going from a worldwide perspective, but I think we want to have these less from a worldwide perspective, right, Dane, and let the regional teams take it on.
Right. Well, one of the issues is simply the logistics of passing the meetings down line to the rest of the regions. If we're going to have a focused message go out in these leadership meetings, and we create the materials that we need to create. Now, in theory, the materials we create will include the downloadable version of the PowerPoint. It will include this audio video that we're going to be producing, and it'll include other materials that are necessary for somebody else to conduct this meeting in their local area. We haven't really got the logistics set up to deliver this yet. This is going to be somewhat more than just putting this on YouTube. We have to have our web pages. We have to have basically a support structure to enable the regions to come to this situation, or come to the website, sign up for a time, identify themselves, and put together a small community to work on hosting a regional meeting. And once they've done all this, then we'll be able to support them with, we can set up a prearranged Zoom channel so that they'll just log in at a certain time during the week, and it'll be opened up for them. There's some work. Yeah, we want to do it every Saturday, but the regional leadership forums and the leadership forums themselves will probably be every 2 weeks. We'll have to figure out another, another message. Maybe we'll do the healing forums on every other Saturday. I think that would be good. I think there's a huge interest in healing, and what we can learn, as in this meeting today, there's a lot of healing technology that's coming out, because the higher the frequencies go, the more important it is for people to use their own consciousness to implement healing strategies for themselves. Most people don't realize that every sound that you hear, all of your experiences on a moment-to-moment basis, descend to your higher self. But as they do, and they leave the physical space, it takes about 6 seconds. When they do, they actually resonate throughout your entire DNA. And your DNA thus carries, you know, the present, your life in them. So because of that, the experiences that you have, if you can focus on the correct thoughts and, you know, communicate to your DNA the right information, then you can actually affect your DNA yourself by your own voice and your own intention. And the fact is, most people don't realize this. They program themselves poorly and don't get good results. But the fact is, there are a lot of people who understand this and are using it. And we need to communicate that with people more. What we say and what we think about ourselves is pivotal importance to our health and our well-being. Anyway, I don't need to preach on it. Go ahead.
Thanks, Dane.
So every Saturday is fine.
Could you review how we can see this program, the recorded program?
Yeah, it'll be recorded, Bob.
How can we review it?
It'll be on YouTube. I'll send out a mail with it also in it. It'll be on YouTube.
Thank you.
So after these meetings, what Dane humbly does and the work that he does full time is to send a meeting after action meeting report, and it includes the YouTube videos and the newsletter prior to the announcement of any leadership meeting that will be announced. He'll send the YouTube videos, and as we transition into a new platform, a new webpage, basically. That will act as the central repository for these resources. Yep.
Thank you, Jed, and thank you, Dane, for all this great information that is very important at this time for all the people we are having now. We are in a crucial time now, very close to the event, and the people need to be informed about all the things that we are talking here. God bless you guys, because you are like angels to the rest of the people. Thank you, and God bless you always.
You know, God bless you as well, and thank you for your light and for your resources that you shared today, and talking and being a part of our PFC discussions. And thank you everyone for all your questions. Dane, Lynn, and Ada for your support as council members and driving PFC. We will not be here today without your work and your efforts. We hope that the Tachyon Chamber rollout goes smoothly in LA. Looking forward to hearing that. Hopefully we get some here out in East Asia and across the Asian continent, into Europe and other places. That's a great thing that we discussed. That I feel that there's a lot of positive things that we discussed today. And I'm looking forward to the next PFC leadership meeting, which will be next week. So for those of you who didn't get to join today, we look forward to you just joining. Send us an email if there are any topics. You can send that email to myself and Dane, so we can prepare a couple of points to speak about, and we can address those things. And if you'd like to be a resource speaker, or if you feel guided to calling yourself out or calling somebody out to join this, please do. We would love that. We appreciate anyone who comes here on our forums to discuss the tools, the resources, their actions, and how we're all helping prepare for change. And with that, folks, I will say thank you. I will say victory to the light. And I will say I look forward to meeting you all again in our next meeting. Thank you so much for your attendance today, and we hope to see you and join with you again soon. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dane, for organizing this, and